Mike from Love is Blind doesn't pay his employees, and I have receipts. Yep, that's right, Mr. Wealth Club himself. Love is Blind season 9 dropped today, and you know the tea is already piping hot. First up is Mike, you know, the one who's currently connecting with Sparkle Megan, and said he has a friend that comes and sits in his hot tub, but they're just platonic. The one that's part of a wealth club, yeah, that guy. He owes a bunch of people money around the Denver area. Employees, small businesses, service providers. Maybe that's how he attains all his wealth, is by not paying the people that actually work for him. Let me tell you what I know, and let me show you the receipts. For those of you who don't know, this all started when the cast list was revealed. People in Denver saw that Mike was on that list. They started swarming Netflix's comments with allegations of non-payment. As you can see here, boom, eat shit, boom. Here's another one. Where there's smoke, there's fire. One person saying something, you're like, eh. But when multiple 10 plus people are saying something, you gotta look into it. So I started looking into the story. This is just one of like 10. As you can see here, I've got the tea on Mike. I started cleaning for him with a cleaning crew a few years ago. Last summer, I was tired of cleaning, so I started doing more maintenance stuff. Cleaned the pool, did the backyard stuff, pool house, took care of all the hot tubs, weeds, house maintenance, etc. Mike treated me along with 2 other girls that worked for us so terribly. I have screenshots to share if you'd like them, which he did in fact share, and he did talk to his employees crazy. He talked so down to us, I finally quit in December. He was mad I quit, so he didn't pay me for November through December. He owes me almost $3,000. I've reached out, called, text, emailed. He ghosted me, blocked me from his Instagram. Here are the texts between her and Mike where she's clearly reminding him to pay her. Never did. She even went as far as filing a complaint against him with the CDLE. And that's just one story. There's another cleaning business. What's hotter than scamming small businesses and moms? You owe us thousands of dollars since you've ignored all my messages and my lawyer. Maybe the Love is Blind Instagram page is your preferred method of communication. I have the letter from the lawyer, literally hiring these small businesses, having them do services for him, and then not paying them. As you can see here, we represent name of company. He owes them $1,500. If you are part of a wealth club, if you have so much money, sir, why are you not paying your employees and service providers? There's more proof that they had to send his ass to collections. Boom, boom. Again, having to ask for their money. Again, all of these stories are from different people. What people don't see is that behind the polished image he's now presenting on Love is Blind, he was extremely manipulative and abusive to the people who kept his business running. He routinely withheld pay, demanded we clean things far beyond reasonable standards, and would yell and demean us for things most clients wouldn't even know. He blurred boundaries with his staff and fostered a toxic, unsafe work environment. He exploited people who depended on him for a paycheck and then held their livelihood over their heads. The public should know that the way he treated his cleaners was the exact opposite of the charming persona he's now trying to present. Actually, he's coming off on the show as quite a douchebag and a weirdo. But it's also good to know that he's a con artist. This is a whole other story from an entirely different person. Pause to read. It's a pattern at this point. It's a pattern at this point. Literally so many receipts and so many people just saying that this guy is not paying them. Let me guess, they're all just wanting 5 minutes of fame, right? How about if you have so much wealth, you pay your fucking employees, pay your service providers, pay the people that are keeping your Airbnbs running. Running around on Love is Blind trying to act like you're this successful businessman, pay your employees. And you guys, one of his exes told me that after they broke up, he created a fake text now number and pretended to be an employer and set up a job interview way in New York. She flew to New York thinking she was going on a job interview, and when she showed up, it was Mike. Allegedly. What in the Law and Order? Oh, and I didn't even tell you guys about Peak Event Partners. That's the business that Mike was the CFO of, and allegedly he bankrupted his partner, but he's lucky his partner is past it and doesn't want to talk about it. But this is the Better Business Bureau complaint where he was allegedly trying to swindle somebody out of $3,000 and was going to not make due on their order for their wedding that was in 10 days. You can literally read the complaint. I booked a wedding event package, tent, chairs, and tables for my wedding with Peak Event Partners. I received the expected automated email from them asking for the remainder owed. I wanted to make sure the details were finalized, so I emailed and called them repeatedly prior to making my payment. I hadn't heard anything from them. I went to their physical location, saw other customer complaints taped to their office doors. The office been closed for several weeks. The vendor was going to not deliver on the contract for my wedding in 10 days and was still requesting final payment. He calls himself CFO but knows nothing about finances, spent all the money that came into the company, paid himself more each month than the company even made, bankrupted the CEOs, and years of lawyers and court later, the CEO of Peak is finally through it all. I feel awful for blank. That's the name of his partner. My husband and I told him from the start that Mike was a horrible man, but he only saw the good in Mike until Mike showed his true self. So allegedly, he bankrupted Peak Event Partners and screwed over his business partner. Now, Mike says this is all not true. Of course, he has a different, story of events of why that company went under. But if I had to put my money on it, considering that he's the Airbnb swindler, I would put my money on he screwed over his business partner rather than his business partner screwed him over. But this story comes from somebody who is very good friends with the business partner. Anywho, that's the tea on Mike. He is in fact a real estate investor and has a bunch of Airbnbs that he owns and manages, but he takes advantage of his employees and the small businesses that help those businesses run by utilizing their services and then not paying them. Of course, Mike says that all of this is not true and everybody's just lying on him, but you know what doesn't lie? Receipts.